Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Katrie and today we are doing the Anti-TBR Tag. Alright guys, so this is going to be a lot of fun. I love sharing unpopular opinions and roasting on books. So if you're not for that, then this is probably not the book for you. Please don't get offended by anything I say. If you like this book, I'm not judging you. Mainly. No, but seriously, like, y'all read what you want to read. I don't really care. I'll judge from a distance if I want to judge, and you can judge me. It doesn't matter. Alright, but let's get into the saltiness. Question number one is, a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And for this I put down two. Well, actually I've got three. So one is very popular and going around a lot right now, and that is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. This instantly I was like, oh, because I heard Gilmore Girls, and then I looked into it, and this is apparently smutty smut. And I was like, how dare you do that to me? I have some major feelings towards this author, and we're not going to talk about it right now. But another one is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, I believe. And this one, she's coming out with more in this series, so I hear about the newest one, but people always keep coming back and talk about Icebreaker all the time. This is, again, another smutty smut one. And I hope that I'm not the only one who says this. If you want to write these books and make these books whatever, they're not for me. I don't think they should be on the shelves. But I do think that it is so wrong for them to put these cute cartoon covers on the front, because I have a friend who works in a bookstore, and she literally sees like 12-year-old girls go up and buy this, and their parents not even know or whatnot. Like, she's told parents before, and they've had them put it back. It's like, you are tricking adolescents into getting a smutty book full of just sex scenes because you want to trick people with your cutesy cover. Like, put something else on the cover. I don't think it should be allowed if it's like PG-13R type rating for the book. I don't think it should be allowed. Anyway, that is my rant. But the third book that I have no interest in reading is Fourth Wing. I don't even know who this is by. I think it's Rebecca something. I'm not a huge fantasy girly anyway, but this is also, like, I've heard super bad, like, writing-wise, and just smut, too. So those are books I hear people rave about. Everybody loves them, yada, yada, yada. I don't care if you love them. I will not love them, and I will not even give them a chance. So, on to question two. This is a classic book or a classic author that you don't have any interest in reading. And I'm actually going to thank Ian Gooley for pointing this one out to me, because he reminded me of this with his new video. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I have no interest in reading that book whatsoever. And watching Ian's video, as entertaining as it was, he did a great job. I was like, yeah, no, I don't ever want to read this. I do not want to sit through half of a book about whale facts. I don't need that in my life, and I have no interest and will never pick that book up. So, now, question number three, there was kind of like a 3 and a 3.20 or something of what author and then what problematic author whose books you have like no interest in trying out. I don't really dive deep into authors, like, I don't know, like I don't dive deep into it. And again, I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, this author did something I didn't like, so I'm not gonna, you know, yada, yada, yada. If I don't like something about an author that I find out, most of the time I won't, like, support or buy the books, and it'd have to be something extreme, but I could still, like, check that book out at a library to read it. Like, I want to read Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. Like, not a Nazi, but, like, I want to read it. Like, if you don't read this stuff, then how are you gonna know when it's coming back for you? Like, how are you gonna know who's actually, like, taken steps and following his logic and stuff if you don't know what he thought and what he said? So, like, I'm interested in stuff like that. And, I mean, he's dead. But, you know, like, if somebody was that problematic, I would probably just read it from the library or something, not give my money to it. So I don't really have, like, for that particular, like, reason, But there are a couple authors that I'm just never going to pick up. One being Tessa Bailey. She's a romance author. Again, her covers are, oh, so cute, but they're smutty, smut. Don't let your kids get near these guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. And tell her to cut it out with the cute covers. Elle Kennedy is another one. She makes me all the madder because, of course, everybody's into all the sports romance, and that's what she does, but it's all smutty, smut, guys. All of it. They need to stop with the cartoon covers, the cute, adorable cartoon covers, because these are not clean. They're not okay. They're not okay for your young ones. So, and then Colleen Hoover is another one. I have no interest. What I've heard from her books is smut, drama, abuse, like glorification of all types of things. I don't really care. I have no interest. I also have heard that she's not really a good author. She's just like, she writes so much drama, whatever stuff, that people are just hooked enough. But her writing is actually very bad. And I heard that from a friend who is, you know, pretty high up there in literature. So I don't even know. An academic or whatnot. So yeah, I have no interest in any of her books. Number 4 is an author that you've read a couple of books from and then decided they weren't for you. This one was kind of hard for me because I have just recently started picking up more books by authors that I like. I don't know why that is. I'm just so frazzled and all over the place when it comes to my reading habits and genres, guys. I mean, if you haven't noticed, yes, romance might be my favorite, and I've been leaning more into that lately, but I have practically every genre on my shelf, and I want to read from practically every genre, so I'm a crazy, you know, I'm a panic attack in books waiting to happen. Anyway, so for this one, I'm going to kind of explain this. I picked Nicholas Sparks. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't know if I'll read any more from him. I have some on my shelf that I'd read and I liked, and I want to reread a lot of those because I'm just not sure if it's my taste that has changed, if I missed some things. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I missed things in the original books or not, but I've tried, I think 2 or 3 from him so far this year, and I hated all of them. They had such problems for me and issues that I just could not get through. And this one I DNF'd. This one in particular I DNF'd because of the way the relationships were being written, because of lesbian side characters. The father-daughter relationship wasn't even that present in the story, which is what I was reading it for. So I just DNF'd this one. I don't have any interest in picking it back up. I don't think he's my author anymore like he used to be, and I'm a little bit worried rereading the few that I kept on my shelf and now hating them or something, because I just completely, you know, I was like young and totally missed out. The only one I know for sure that I have reread a couple times is A Walk to Remember, and I still do really enjoy that one. So that would be the only one that I would just off the top of my head know to recommend and still recommend. But the other ones I really need to reread, but he's just not, when I see him in the store now, I'm not instantly like, ooh, I have to buy his book, because he's disappointed me quite a few times now that I'm reconsidering. So not a totally like won't ever read from him again, but he's like getting to that point, you know. All right, and then question number 5 is a genre you have no interest in or have tried and or have tried to get into and couldn't. So for this, I'm gonna go with horror. I just don't think it's my genre. I don't like scary stuff. That said, like I said, I'm a panic attack waiting to happen in books, apparently, because one of my favorite books is Jurassic Park, and that is a horror novel. Don't question me, guys, okay? It's like the only horror book I like, though, and I don't really have any interest in reading horror unless it's Jurassic Park. So, we're just gonna, you know, just, yeah, it's horror. It's not my genre, but there's one book I love. So, yeah. Question number 6 is a book you have bought but will never read. Okay, this is one that I'm going to be putting in my unhaul pile. It was in my trimming the TBR, but I've just decided I'm giving it away entirely. I'm not going to read it. And that is Making Sense: Conversations on Conscious Morality and the Future of Humanity by Sam Harris. This was a funny date thing at the Dollar Tree that me and my husband did, and my husband picked this one up for me, so it was literally $1 forever ago. And I was like, oh, this looks like a fun read. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew that this guy was not gonna be like Christian and whatnot, but I read Is God Just a Human Invention and 17 Other Questions Raised by New Atheists by Sean McDowell and Jonathan Morrow, I believe, this year. This guy right here, Sam Harris. Yeah, he's quoted a lot in that book as one of the new atheists. I guess he's a new atheist specifically. He is quoted so much in that book that I feel like I probably already know half of what this book is. And my dear goodness, I do not need to hear one of his idiotic tangents again. I don't. The guy is so dumb. Oh my gosh. Like, he doesn't... I mean, there's a couple of things that, you know, he did like, a couple of things that they were like, oh, okay, well, we credit him for like at least acknowledging this in the book. But I was like, this guy is so dumb and he's infuriating, and oh my gosh, my head's gonna explode from his stupidity. And yeah, so I'm not gonna read this. Sorry for the harsh words, guys, but yeah, it was mainly him. They used a couple others, but it was mainly him in that book. I heard so much from him. I'm like, I don't ever want to hear from him again, so I'm giving away this book. And I'm not gonna read it. All right, question number 7 is a series you have no interest in reading or a series you started and DNF'd. For this, I am going to say any of Sarah J. Maas's series, her fantasy series. Again, fantasy is not for me particularly. Like, there are some fantasies I love, but it's just not my favorite genre. And no, she is another smutty smut. So I don't plan on reading anything by her, any of her series. I'm pretty sure all she writes is series. So question number 8 is a new release you have no interest in reading. I don't keep up with new releases, guys, so I just kind of went on a new release like of this year, popular releases of this year list, and I picked out a couple here. Bride by Allie Hazelwood. I haven't read Allie Hazelwood. I've heard that she's also pretty smut, but I've also seen some people on Christian Booktube who have read some of her books and said they're not like that bad. And I think she has a YA or two, so I don't know. I would need to do more research to see if she's completely like cut off for me or whatnot, because I don't think the YA is supposed to have it in it. But anyway, Bride, on the other hand, I have heard such awful things. Like, y'all, I've heard things and I've been like, I don't even want to know or think about what that means. No, this book is going, no. I don't ever want that in my house. And then another one was The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I just tried this author in a couple of videos back in my reading thrillers for a week, and I actually DNF'd her book. I did not like some things that were in it, very inappropriate sexual content, and also just lackluster thriller plot. Like, I guessed it, and I only read 100 pages of it. So this is her new release. No interest in reading it ever, but yeah, I'm sure you could probably go on the new release list and be like, yeah, Katri probably wouldn't read this, or this. I probably wouldn't read most all of them. The only one I saw on there that I remember seeing on there that I actually want to read is The Woman by Kristen Hanna. So yeah, and that's because, like, you know, new releases is like big popular authors and stuff, and I feel like a lot of things that I'm starting to like more of, especially, is more indie authors, because I'm getting more into the Christian genre and then just clean romance genre, and a lot of those are not traditionally published, which is really sad. This is another thing that I'm just gonna go off on a tangent on, is Sarah Adams. Gosh, if anybody has read or knows somebody who has read her new one, the third in the When in Rome series, like, is that gonna be smutty? Because her last book, the rule book, had an open door scene in it, and I was very disappointed in that woman. Like, oh my goodness. I appreciate her putting it in there and warning people of where it is. Honestly, I think everybody should do that. Like, you should have some type of warning at least so that people can look at it and know that it's in there. But she's been traditionally, like, clean for the most part, and she can be a little bit like with the tension and stuff much for some people, I know. I personally think the way she does the tension with the splash of humor that she does is like perfect for me personally, but I really don't want her to start adding spice into her books. So if anybody knows about that new one coming out, let me know. All right, but that is all of the questions for the anti-TBR tag today. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings, my unpopular opinions, my salty take, whatever you like to call it. If you want to have a salty discussion about it in the comments, let me know. I'll salt it up with you. Join me in unpopular opinions, you know. I honestly think this was so much fun. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's so much fun to like, rant about books, and yeah, so especially when it's spicy and smutty stuff, which I guess half of my list was spicy and smutty stuff, so you know, I like to tell it how it is and protect them kids. But yeah, I'm gonna go before I embarrass myself more, so I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.